Hey guys, this is Jason with the Geek Roundtable. I'm coming to you today to really just talk about review season 1, episode 1 of Loki. And man, it's bad. Like, it's bad. Um, I had to take notes because if I didn't, I was going to forget the episode because it's forgettable. Um, so I'm going to start off with what I liked, and then I'll get into what I didn't like and my critique of the show. So what I liked was I enjoyed Tom Hiddleston's performance as Loki. As always, I always have. I thought he was a perfect casting for Loki, all the way back in the very first Thor movie. I really enjoyed Owen Wilson's character in in the show. He just plays a very almost suave type detective type, and I like the suave detective, the kind of guy that takes his job very seriously, but is very smooth about his operation and how he does it. Very classic detective type stuff, which is really cool. I like old school detective movies and things like that. So now what I didn't like. Oh, oh man. Okay. So the first episode is a complete and total walk back of everything Loki is at the end of the first Avengers movie. And his entire redemption arc is pretty much, no, not pretty much, is completely erased. So his redemption arc in the movies doesn't mean anything now. Because when he grabs the Tesseract, he gets transported to some random spot in the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. So, first off, why the Gobi Desert in Mongolia? If he has the space stone that is the Tesseract, right? He can teleport anywhere. Correct? So if he can teleport anywhere, why didn't he teleport to Jotunheim or back to Asgard like they do at the end of the first Avengers movie, where Thor takes a chained Loki back to Asgard to stand trial? I mean, way to go, Marvel. You already completely broke the whole thing, the whole meaning of the space stone being able to be controlled by the wielder of said stone to be able to be transported wherever they want to go. Like, for example, when Thanos used it in the Infinity Gauntlet, how many times did he teleport? And how many times did he arrive exactly where he wanted to, or at least in the vicinity of where he wanted to? And secondly, why in the blue hell would Loki transport himself all the way to the Gobi Desert in Mongolia? Why? It makes zero sense. Anyway, moving past that. So the acting was pretty bland outside of Tom and Owen Wilson's characters. The when Loki's found by the time cops, the TVA or whatever they are, the time, it doesn't matter what they're called. They're just time cops. It's better that way. They hit Loki one time with this like time rod and beat him. Okay, so why would he just blindly rush into a fight with as intelligent as he is to not to find out what he's going into first? Why would he just jump into something when he's literally watch them walk through a portal? So yeah, that was dumb. So the next, so he gets, should really say spoilers. So spoilers. So when I first saw them, the time cops, their helmets reminded me of German soldiers in World War II. I'm not going to say the actual name, but you can put two and two together. Helmets look eerily similar. I'm just saying. So way to go there, Marvel. Good job, Disney. The other thing too is if this is supposed to be a time cop place, why are all the people human? Why are they all human looking? Wouldn't you have aliens in here instead of just humanoids, human people? You would have other humanoid aliens of different species from different time periods, planets, blah blah blah. But no, we're just gonna stick with people. That's fine. We're not gonna try and put in, aliens that we have proven exist with Guardians of the Galaxy yet. No, we're not gonna do that. That's dumb. Why would we do that? Because it makes sense. Let's not do things that make sense. So fast forward, Loki goes through this whole like DMV thing with the it's dumb. You don't. It's fast forward through it when you watch the episode. It's dumb. So he meets up with Owen Wilson's character, and they sit down, and Owen Wilson's character just starts drilling him question after question after question after question, and Loki doesn't really have a retort to all of it. The fact that Loki never has a retort or a response to any of the questions outside of quick little one answer responses, such as, well, what would you do when you become king? Rule Midgard, Earth, right? And then what? Rule the 9 realms. And then what? It's I'm not going to answer for Loki because A, he's a fictional character, and B, he would absolutely have an answer for everything. So anyway, there were so many throwaway lines in this episode. makes my brain hurt. There's so many throwaway lines. So there's this part earlier in the episode where Loki's not able to use his god-like powers, like any of them. And by any of them, I mean his magic. He's not able to use his godlike strengths, like his agility, speed, all that. All that's taken away from him. They never explain why or how. They never explain how. They just don't. Why? Why don't they explain that? Is it because he's outside of time? Okay. Well, that's fine and dandy, and that's cool and everything, but they're innate to him. The only way to take them from him is to strip him of his godhood. They're only wardens of time or time cops or whatever. They don't have the ability to do that. So how did he not have his magical abilities? Please explain that to me. Because in this particular scene that I'm speaking of, they turn one of the best villains the MCU had into a joke. It's awful. Shame on you, Marvel. Awful storytelling. And then there's another scene. I'm struggling to get through this because it's so bad. There's a scene where Loki's able to get out and walk around, and he meets up with this guy that he met up earlier with, earlier in the episode, and this other guy is, I guess, a mailroom service clerk, whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. Because Loki tells him if he doesn't tell him exactly what he wants to know, he's gonna gut him like a fish. And the guy's like, well, what's a fish? How can you work in the position that he's in? Not necessarily the position, but how can he work in the place that he works, the time cop like headquarters, and not know what a freaking fish is? Anyway, moving on. So just ponder on that for a second because it's really dumb. The next thing, because Loki's also looking for the Tesseract, and he's like, oh, you mean the Infinity Stone? Yeah, and he pulls open a drawer, and there's a drawer of them, and I'll show you. It's a drawer of Infinity Stones. You see this? A drawer of Infinity Stones. I see a few Reality Stones in there. I see a Soul Stone right there. I see several Time Stones. I see a couple of Power Stones maybe over there. I see a Space Stone right there. I see a Mind Stone maybe right there. No, the Mind Stone was yellow in the thing. That might be a Mind Stone right there. But look, this is like a drawer full of Infinity Stones that they just have lying around. That, and I quote, some guys use them as paperweights. So the entire thing of the Infinity Gems throughout the entire first 3 phases of the MCU have been reduced to paperweights. Yeah. Thanos' great quest the huge movie that was Avengers Endgame with them defeating Thanos and Tony Stark sacrificing his life with his own snap of I am Iron Man and using the Infinity Gems to sacrifice himself to, save everyone and rid the universe of Thanos has been reduced to, oh, well, you've got 6 paperweights. Good job. What a way to wreck your own continuity, Marvel. What a way to wreck it. Okay, so my critique is when Loki is by himself in the questioning room and watches the scenes of his life from the movies and doesn't immediately get the mischievous grin on his face like he's plotting, blows my mind. He's watching the film of his life and of his decisions, and it's basically scenes from the MCU, so you're not missing out on the scenes because you should already know what those are. But now, this Loki that is post first Avengers movie, that's still a villain that has not gone through his redemption arc yet, okay, can then say, okay, now if I was writing this, I'd say, okay, I'm going to start it off bad to set it up this way. And the way would be, Marvel, I swear, I'm going to put a copyright on this. And if you take my idea, I will sue you. Now, plus this is on the internet. So I had it first. You didn't. Or maybe I just guessed right. One of the two. So I'd set it up like this. And then Loki would then manipulate his way, because he is the god of mischief and the world's greatest liar. Nobody has the ability to socialize and convince people like Loki can. Like, nobody. So fast forward. Now you come to a point where Loki is gonna find a way to possibly change literally all of the decisions that he makes, to where he can then manipulate his own timeline to become King of Asgard. And Thor would be powerless to stop him. That's what Loki would actually try to do, FYI. Because you just gave this villain a major weapon. So, and the other thing too is they don't explain how Loki is not able to outwit or convince everyone that is literally in every room with him why he should be let go. Loki doesn't lose conversations that he's guiding, or shouldn't lose a conversation with someone who doesn't know how he thinks. And you can't say literally every single time cop knows how he thinks, because there's no effing way every single one of them knows how he thinks. So yeah, I do not have high hopes for this season. I do not have high hopes for this show. Yeah, I think it's dead on arrival. I think it's DOA, and it just, yeah, and it's not very, it's not very good. Um, I hope it gets better, and that with man, I don't even know where they're gonna go, because apparently there's another Loki out there killing people, and they need Loki's help to find him. And with the way that everything's going with, it's man, I have no hope for this show. And it's not because I checked out of the MCU after Endgame. It's just a badly written show with wasted talent of Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. So man, I hate to be such a downer on it, but hey, I mean, look, this is a story that Marvel wanted to write. This is a story that Kevin Feige okayed. So I hope it doesn't suck. I think it will. I don't have a lot of hope for this show. As I said, I don't. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be very good. I mean, it can only get better from here, but when better is your kneecaps, is it really better? You know? So yeah, I think that's about it for me, guys. And definitely be sure to like, comment, subscribe.